guys, and welcome to this week's video. This week I'll be doing a painting with ink. So I'll be using my Winsor & Newton ink, my Daler Rowney acrylic ink. I'll also be using some watercolour paper. I'll be using my Aquafine Smooth. I'll also be using my Kurodaki dip pen to do my line work and some paintbrushes. If you missed the full list of equipment, the list will be down below. So after creating our cute little pumpkin cat, I wanted to create her witch, so to speak. And this is Patricia. Patricia looks very similar to Marie, and Plumpkin looks very similar to Prickles, and I kind of think of them as a Halloween-esque version of these characters. They're not native to the world, it was just something to create a cute character design, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I set myself a very limited palette with this. I wanted brown, I wanted green, yellow and orange, and that's pretty much the only colours I used, bar from a little bit of white acrylic just to pop off some little areas. So I'm going through and I'm inking here. I'm using my Kurodaki dip pen and it is really nice to use, really good to control. The acrylic ink worked really well with it, and it's not something I've really used with my dip pen before, and I figured, hey, since it's Inktober, let's try and paint with inks. Now the huge difference between painting with watercolours and painting with inks is once you've put the ink down, it has stained the paper. You cannot lift it up. So if there are any mistakes that are to be made, that's it, the mistake is permanent. You can build up colour on top and try and soften the colour that you've accidentally left underneath, but other than that, that's it. It's stuck, it's there, you cannot use it anymore. And that's kind of what I was going for with this. Now the good thing is with this Daler Rowney, I'm gonna keep mixing up my words there, Daler Rowney paint is that once you put it down, it sticks down. The acrylic ink is fantastic for this. It is a very hardy ink. You can use it with pens, you can use it with watercolours, and in my experience I've had a fantastic time with it. I really love dip pens, and I love the variation in line that you can create from pressing slightly with your pen and creating a good variation. I tried some different techniques here, used a little bit of cross hatching to create some depth. Since we had a very limited palette that we were using, I wanted to work within those aspects. Now if you do want to create a painting with ink, I'm going to give you a few tips here. One, remember that once you put that colour down, that colour is permanent. So it might be worth you getting a test piece of paper and testing your colours down beforehand. Always make sure you wash your brush in between inks and get a palette down and mix up a few different colours with the colour variation and see what you get with that. I found it really difficult after a bit to keep on getting the same tones, even though I would add the same amount of like water to ink to get the opacity the way I wanted. I still wasn't getting the same results each time, and each time you build another colour on top, it makes that colour more intense. So if you're going for a very light orange and then want to go to a very deep orange, you could start with your lightest coat and then slowly build. It is fairly quick to dry as well. It's kind of like using liquid watercolours, which I have used before in another video with my Aqualine watercolours, and they do behave very much like watercolours. I will say they do dry slightly lighter and they do leave a very slight sheen, and I would wholeheartedly recommend you try this out. It is a lot of fun, and I probably will go to painting with inks in the future, and this is if this is something that you guys would like to see, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll also be adding this to my Redbubble store, so you'll be able to get prints of this, and as well I'll be at London Comic Con this weekend, so I will be sending this print there as well. So the one thing I found that after you slightly oversaturated any sort of the paper or anything like that, I wasn't getting as much buckling. It was absolutely fine with as much water layers, and that's good paper. If you have good paper, you're not going to get as much buckling. This is sort of like a medium grade paper, but a very expensive paper, you do find that doesn't buckle as much. But you'll notice you'll get these weird blotchy parts. Now if you look particularly to the pumpkin that has the green to orange gradation, you'll notice that it's having this like very strange speckly effect, and that was because as I was building the colours on top of each other, it was creating this very interesting effect, and you can use that to your advantage. I think it really added a nice dapple effect to the pumpkin. It's not the easiest to control, I will admit, but painting with inks is such an experience. I had to try it out. Now, I don't know what you guys think of this, but I think this is the perfect Halloweeny pumpkin piece. I'm not saying that my art's perfect, because it's not, and there are mistakes in this piece, but I know what I live with my mistakes, and I will always try and improve and learn from the mistakes I've made. But one of the things that I really loved about this was like the colour, because I was limiting my colour palette so much, it forced me to try and get creative with the colours. Like I was building effects that I wouldn't normally do, and some areas aren't as deep as I would like them, but yet again that would be better if I had a little bit of black in some of the colours. It would have dulled those tones and they wouldn't have been as vibrant. So painting with inks is definitely an experience, and it is something that I really have enjoyed over Inktober. I'm going to do an Inktober art tour of all the pieces that I've done, and I'll also be sharing the zine that I'm compiling together as well. I've been very busy because of London Comic Con, and I do apologise for that if my videos have been a little bit lackluster. I've been trying to keep everything up, and I do understand that they haven't been the greatest videos, but I have tried my best. So I really am happy with this piece. I'm really happy with the direction that I went with it. I think adding that little touch of white really made certain areas pop that were a little bit too dull, especially if you keep building up the colours on top of each other. It does maybe granulate a little bit and the colours do dull and become a little bit muddy. So just be careful if you are painting with inks not to oversaturate those colours. But this is Patricia and this is Plumpkin, the Halloween-esque version of Marine Prickles. They are not canon to the Mushroom Hunter / Plant Witch universe. I just really like the character designs and I thought they were a lot of fun. Maybe we can revisit these guys in the future, and maybe we can even create a comic with these guys. So here is a final look of everything that I used, colour gradation and like the sort of things that I did, and of course final looks at the piece. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you guys managed to paint anything with inks or have done something similar to this before, make sure to tag me, share. I want to see what amazing work you've done. As always, if you do tag me on Instagram or Facebook or on Twitter, make sure to use the hashtag StayCreative with Sophiralou so that I can see your work. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and as always folks, stay creative.